All right, picture this. Rain-slick streets reflecting this constant neon glow. You got these towering megacorporations on one side, and on the other, life in the digital shadows. High-tech, low-life. That's the world of cyberpunk, right? It's a future that was imagined back in the 80s, where information is everything and the real fight for it happens in this virtual realm. What's absolutely fascinating is how much this fiction actually predicted and, even inspired the reality of our digital lives today. The main architect of this whole vision was William Gibson. People often call him the father of cyberpunk. In his novel Neuromancer from 1984, he defines cyberspace with that iconic line. It's this shared digital space, and it's navigated by hackers he called console cowboys, these lone operators jacking right into the global network. But of course, to get anywhere in the space, they had to get past its defenses. So, in Gibson's world, security wasn't just some firewall or password you had to guess. It was ICE. Intrusion Countermeasures Electronics. And this wasn't just software meant to keep you out. Oh no. It was a digital barrier, a data wall designed to be lethal. We're talking about something that could literally fry the brain of any hacker who dared to break in. This was security imagined as an actual weapon. Now that aggressive, deadly vision of cybersecurity, that's pure science fiction. The real story, the one that actually protects your bank account and your private emails, isn't quite as cinematic. It didn't come from some dystopian novel, but from something way more fundamental. See, real digital security wasn't born from fiction at all. It came from the necessities of mathematics and war. Its bedrock isn't some lethal data wall. It's a field as old as secret messages themselves: cryptography, the art of writing and, more importantly, solving codes. While Alan Turing's code-breaking work back in the 1940s definitely laid the theoretical groundwork, the true revolution didn't happen until the 70s. In '76, Whitfield Diffie and Martin Hellman solved a massive problem. How do you share a secret key to decode messages without an enemy intercepting it first? Their solution was a game changer: Public Key Cryptography. And then, just a year later, Ron Rivest, Audie Shamir, and Leonard Adleman built on that idea to create the RSA algorithm. That algorithm from 1977 is the entire reason you see that little padlock icon in your web browser today. RSA is the workhorse of modern encryption. It's the mathematical trust that underpins pretty much every secure transaction you make online, from sending an email to buying a coffee. But purely defensive math isn't enough. The need for active cybersecurity, for software that actually hunts down threats, that only came about when the first digital threats appeared on the very early internet, a network called Arpanet. And this was the beginning of the digital arms race. Back in 1971, a programmer named Bob Thomas created a program called Creeper. It wasn't really malicious, it just hopped between computers on the Arpanet, displaying the message, "I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can." While in response, another programmer, Ray Tomlinson, created Reaper, the first ever antivirus program, designed to do one single thing: hunt down and destroy Creeper. The first digital cat-and-mouse game had officially begun. For years, this whole arms race was mostly theoretical, kind of playful. Then, in 1988, everything changed. A graduate student named Robert Tappan Morris released a program that became known as the Morris worm. The problem was, due to a coding error, it started replicating completely out of control. In just a matter of hours, it brought down this percentage of the entire internet, 10%. The Morris worm was the internet's wake-up call. This was no longer a game. The damage was real, and the consequences were too. Morris became the very first person convicted under computer fraud laws, and that event forced governments and corporations to finally take network security seriously. The theoretical had just become very, very real. So, okay, we've got the mathematical architects and the digital soldiers, but what about that rebellious, anti-authoritarian spirit from those cyberpunk novels? The console cowboys fighting the system. Well, that spirit is very much alive and kicking today. The inheritors of that cyberpunk ethos are all around us, and they often walk a very fine line. You see them in the white hat hackers, who are basically the modern console cowboys. They break into systems not to steal, but to expose the flaws and make everyone safer. You see it in privacy activists, who view mass surveillance as the new corporate ICE and fight for information freedom. And you see it in reformed figures like the late Kevin Mitnick, who used his genius first to break systems and then to protect them. And this philosophy of pushing boundaries, it doesn't stop at software. It extends to our own bodies. The cybernetic enhancements you read about in fiction are finding their real-world counterparts in biohackers and transhumanists. I mean, these are pioneers implanting RFID chips in their hands to unlock doors, or magnets in their fingertips just to feel new senses. They are literally blurring the line between human and machine. So all of this brings us to a final, really fascinating question. As we navigate this modern cyberspace, one that's built on the cold logic of cryptographers, but is constantly challenged by the spirit of rebels, who is the real guardian of our digital future? Is it the unbreakable, elegant mathematics of the code, or is it the defiant individual who questions the system, breaks the rules, and forces all of us to build stronger walls? The answer, just like the future itself, is still being written.
Thank you for creating cybersecurity.